So let's enter the time machine and go back about 25 years to the dot bomb era. It was around this time that SaaS technology and companies were emerging in the mainstream, most notably Salesforce, which launched its CRM only a year before in 1999. Customers were shifting from major purchases and a lot less frequently signing major multi-year deals. Instead, companies were reducing their TCO, or total cost of ownership, and were dipping their toes into the water of online platforms, especially as the internet improvements kept on coming. This shift really upped the stakes when it came to customer service because now customers could churn off of a product more easily than ever and less expensively. Doing so was much more affordable than previously, and companies had to work so much harder just to retain their customers. We called these times the customer revolution, a period marked by a significant increase in customer expectations and a demand for better service. In only a few short years later, the customers had won the revolution, and the support and service landscape never looked the same. Back then, it was very common for support and service organizations to be set up in what we call a three-tier support model. This model involved 3 levels of support, with each level handling different types and levels of complexity for customer issues. Typically, the first tier would answer very basic questions. They were a much more affordable workforce and typically entry level. The normal escalation rate from Tier 1 to Tier 2, the mean for customers' issues, was usually around 50% or even a little bit higher, company to company. Now, Tier 2 were more experienced support and service professionals and typically could handle or resolve around 80% of the cases or tickets that they received. And finally, Tier 3 were very deep technical or product experts, much more handsomely paid, and could resolve the vast majority of any issues escalated to them. Less ones that maybe had to go to product or engineering for an actual fix. Back then, though, we had a problem that we had to solve for. We knew that handoffs or escalations caused customer friction, and no longer were customers entrapped with us to do their business. By some measures and means, a single handoff can detract 20 to 30% from a customer's satisfaction from that interaction. And we also know that customer loyalty only begins to emerge in that top 14% of a customer satisfaction scale. So because of SaaS, we had a service-related churn issue we had to solve for. Customers could more easily leave to a competitor now than ever. They were no longer entrapped. They weren't nearly as sticky as before. And we knew that 50% of our customer service issues escalated from Tier 1 to Tier 2 meant there was no chance of making it into that top 14% and becoming a loyal customer. So most organizations had to reconsider the 3-tier support model of support and service. It wouldn't work the same in the new modern SaaS world. The overwhelming industry shift was to unite Tier 1 and Tier 2 together, accepting an increase in headcount cost for better customer experience and better customer satisfaction results. This new support and service model would solve the vast majority of customer inquiries at their first stop. It generally is known as a 2-tier model or a frontline-backline support model. Now, a smaller number of inquiries would suffer the consequences of that escalation penalty or handoff. However, it would be a far less number that only was escalated one time. Expenses increased. Because of this higher expense, efforts and focus were placed in routing customers and their issues to the right people in the first place. And of course, case deflection and customer self-service. But more effective routing, categorization, etc. would drive efficiency and minimize the footprint of staff needed and the costs in this new frontline. Now let's jump back in the time machine and make a pit stop in January of 2023. The tech economy is reeling. Cash flow is king. And cash flow is a top priority for companies just trying to stay alive. And almost unbelievably, a new technology has emerged and gaining traction. You know it, artificial intelligence and AI. One part of AI is called generative AI. For the SaaS industry, this is a silver bullet, a godsend, really. We can weave through our financial challenges and pressures, make a few calculated customer experience trade-offs, and finally hit our numbers again. Enter generative AI service chatbots. It's a dream come true, and it's an amazing timing for the tech industry. AI customer support and service chatbots sold like hotcakes in 2023. To be clear, the challenges businesses faced because of their financial metrics were very challenging, and real situations have to be met with real solutions. After a year of implementations, here we are in 2024. The 2023 results have come in, namely through third-party sources such as the United Kingdom Customer Satisfaction Index Report, the United States Customer Satisfaction Index Report, Gallup, and even Forbes. But what are the results from these third-party research firms? Customer satisfaction has plummeted, due large in part because of the implementation of these service chatbots. One of the very interesting and almost ironic statistics is the escalation rate of AI customer service chatbots. Want to take a guess what the escalation rate is? Circa pre.bomb days. It's like the tier 3 model all over again. It's over 50% of the time. So once again in SaaS companies, we have introduced, for the exact same reasons that we had cheap humans in tier 1 before, and the results are the same. A mean escalation rate of over 50%. And that means we've reintroduced the same exact friction that forced us to change our approach 25 years ago. It sometimes feels like watching Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. And I want to be clear, I am not an opponent of AI, but I am a proponent of customer experience. AI lends itself to many remarkable advantages when it comes to customer service. These include incredible search capabilities, customer sentiment analysis at scales that we've never been able to imagine before, categorization, automation, and overall staff augmentation. However, when it comes to being on the front lines or being on tier 1, the customers have spoken. Customer satisfaction is as low as it's ever been in 15 years. Chatbots, on average, have over a 50% escalation rate, just like tier 1 did a quarter century ago. I feel that it's imperative that we learn from our history and our past mistakes to avoid repeating them again. Even the customer experience and support lessons from the dot-bomb era that are still relevant today. When considering the adoption of AI, particularly AI service chatbots, it's crucial to remember the importance of customer experience. By doing so, we can steer clear of the pitfalls that befell many dot-bomb companies in the early 2000s, over 25 years ago. What's that saying? What a long, strange trip it's been. I appreciate everyone for watching. I know this is a controversial topic. It's okay if you agree or disagree, but if you do, please let me know why in the comments below. If this has made you think, please hit subscribe and reach out anytime. This is Shane from Everetics. Take care. Bye now.